O mighty Historicon, share with us your mighty, mighty wisdom concerning that fraud, Jesus.
Oh, brother. A tribe of primitive, fundy atheists.
Seize the infidel.
What the... Alright, my ears are clean enough. Okay, what's the deal here, guys?
Infidel, we will take you to the mighty Historicon. It is he who will decide your fate.
Yeah, okay.
O mighty Historicon, this infidel has intruded upon your sacred space. Reveal to us your mighty, mighty will.
So, it is James Patrick Holding.
Oh, you know me, huh?
The mighty Historicon sees and knows all. Because you have intruded on my sacred space and disturbed my followers, the penalty is death. Unless you join our side.
Well, if you know me like you say you do, then you also know the drill. Give me your best evidence, and if it works, I'll change my mind and join up, no problem.
Very well. The quickest way to divest you of your delusions is this.
What's that supposed to be?
What do you mean? What's it supposed to be? Can you not see it as a list of ancient historians?
Yeah, so?
4. All of these were contemporaries or near contemporaries of Jesus, and yet not one mentions him. Think of it. None mentions your wonderful miracle-working God-man. How do you explain that?
Pretty easily, actually. I wrote a whole chapter about that list in this book. Here's the deal, mighty Historicon. You're making more than a few background errors to start.
How dare you?
Shut up. First of all, you reject the Gospels as reliable evidence for Jesus, right?
Of course.
And why is that?
Well, isn't it obvious? Who could believe such stories about someone rising from the dead and walking on water and becoming a god? Anyone who believes such things is clearly deluded and cannot be trusted to be providing reliable information.
And yet you're complaining because you say all these historians don't mention Jesus, the miracle-working God-man? And if any of them did, then based on what you just said, they'd also be deluded and not be able to be trusted to provide reliable information, correct? Here's the thing, mighty Historicon. If you heard stories about a miracle-working God-man who lived on the next island about 30 years ago, what would you do?
I would consider such stories nonsense.
You wouldn't send one of your friends here to investigate?
Bah! Of course not!
Precisely. You'd dismiss it without looking into it. Well, the typical historian of that day would feel the same way about any stories they heard about Jesus, even if they happen to be true. They just dismiss them. Poof! End of story. He was executed as a criminal. He was a poor peasant artisan with a super low honor rating. He associated with people who also had low honor ratings. And he didn't cause Rome to do so much as scramble a single soldier. So, they'd have as much reason in their minds as you would to just dismiss any stories about him, and to not say a word about him in their histories.
Oh, come now. Surely at least one of these would have said something.
Yeah, right. Let me tell you a little something about your list. First of all, there's a few people on there who did mention Jesus. Then you have a whole mess of them on these that weren't even writing stuff relevant to history or to Jesus. I mean, look at that. Juvenal, he wrote satirical plays. Arrian wrote a history of Alexander the Great, who lived over 300 years before Jesus. Theon of Smyrna, he wrote a book on mathematics. And Columella wrote about agriculture. There's a whole bunch that need to come off of there because they were either writing about people who lived well before Jesus, or because they were writing about things way off topic for Jesus to be mentioned. So get them off of there. Then you have some on there that seem to be ringers. It's impossible to tell who you're referring to because there's more than one writer by the same name or something like that. Take those off. That just leaves a handful, and we can get rid of those too. So that clears your list. Nice try, though.
Why, you pathetic little apologist. I'll have your head for that. Find the atheist drones. Destroy that apologist. Knock him out. Shoot him his ears. I want to see him dead within the next 5 minutes. An autograph Richard Carrier book of a man who...
Hey, wait a second. You there.
Hey, notice the man behind the curtain. The great and mighty historic one has spoken. Sorry.
Hey, wait a minute. You're John Remsberg.
Yeah, and what do you want to make of it?
Sheesh, you're like over 200 years old now, aren't you?
People still use my list, don't they?
Yeah, but they rarely screw up when they use it. Whatever made you think to come to a place like this
The mighty Remsberg.
What?
Share with us your wisdom, O mighty Remsberg. Tell us how we may be saved from religious delusion.
You know, Coco, it never ceases to amaze me how these fundy atheists think that 18th and 19th century popularizing skeptics with no serious academic credentials deserve a hearing on stuff like this. I wonder if any more of those weirdos from back then are still around.
Halt! How dare you trespass on the sacred ground of the mighty Ingersoll?
Oh boy, here we go again.